My name is Annette Teixeira, and I have been teaching theater for 21 years, and I teach all levels of theater: intro, intermediate, advanced, and the district's only musical theater class. In Intro to Theater, I focus on laying the foundation for all the skills for theater, including building trust, creativity, imagination, learning to accept other people for who they are. Intermediate theater is different altogether. We focus on broadening the acting skills, focusing particularly on children's theater as a vehicle to broaden those skills. Advanced theater changes based on each ensemble that I have, so I really pay attention to who my artists are and what their strengths and weaknesses are, and I build the class from the ground up every time I greet a new ensemble. Musical theater is a completely different animal because it is the integration of all the skills, and we get a huge range of students, from students that can sing to students that are terrified that they landed in the musical theater class. It's team taught, and we put on a major musical in musical theater, and it is really a class for my risk takers. What I am most passionate about is theater's ability to transcend the boundaries between people, cultures, time periods. I love that my students can truly step in the footsteps of other people and build an understanding of what it means to be human across cultures and across time periods. I think it builds better human beings.
My favorite thing about theater is just how accepting everyone is. When I come into the space, I just feel like I'm ready to say whatever I think I want to say, but not get judged. I feel like in a lot of classrooms, I just feel so, shy and so nervous all the time. But when I come into theater, it's where I get to let loose and have fun and be with people who, genuinely accept me and don't judge me as much as if it were a math class.
There's two things that I really love. I love our ensemble that we always get. I like meeting up with a new group because every year we have to get a new ensemble because it's a new class and everything. But I love making friendships and becoming a family with each of those groups. But I also really, really love performing. There's just something about performing that always just gives me this rush of liveliness, and it's there's no other way to describe it. It's one of my favorite things in the world, and it scares the heck out of me to perform all the time, but it's still one of the most exhilarating experiences, I guess you can say. I can't really think of the word, but it makes me feel the most alive out of everything I've ever done, and it just feels just great, and I love performing. I think music and musical theater specifically is what I'm most passionate about, just because especially musical theater, it mixes music and theater and performing arts and kind of puts it together into a extravagant form of music almost. So I think I love that. And if I were able to put that into any career that I end up doing in my life, I think it would make me incredibly happy, and I think that is the goal. But if I don't get there, it's just anything creative, arts-wise, is would be remarkable for me to have a career in.
My name is Jeffrey Mooring. I teach Introduction to Art, Advanced Art, and Color and Design So Introduction to Art is kind of set up more based on the foundations of visual art. So I start at using the very basic fundamentals, which a lot of students that I get don't even know how to use a ruler. So we start, with the fundamentals as far as line, shape, form. So we hit on the elements of art, principles of design, and then each element or principle will have multiple projects associated with that element or principle. Advanced art, I set it up more like a college art class. There's a lot more freedom in advanced art. The students actually receive a list of projects that they do, but in advanced art, everyone is working on a different project at different times. It just makes it easier as far as allowing them to have the freedom to basically be creative. So it's set up in a different way. And then in color and design, which is usually a third-year class, color and design comes after advanced art, and they actually are mainly working on their portfolio, getting things ready for college. I love it because it's therapeutic. It seems like when I'm creating something, whether it's painting or graphic design or even creating videos, it's just therapeutic for me. That's why I like to create, because it somehow fills a void that I would normally have if I didn't create.
What I like about art is just the creation of it. The class is fun as well, but just to see what people kind of come up with or what they create on their own, it's kind of interesting because you get to see more of a person rather than just, what they look like. You could see, what they're feeling from a different piece of art, or maybe if you could just see their emotion and just what their interest is and how their style, everyone has a different style, and it's very interesting to see.
I like a lot of things about art. I think my main thing is the meaning and stuff behind it, because I like interpreting things a lot. And I think a lot of the main beauty of art is being able for the artist to put part of themselves into the art, whether it's visual, studio type art, or performing arts, or anything. The artist is able to put part of themselves into it.
My favorite art piece that I've made is a hummingbird I did when I was in Intro to Art, and it had I made it so that all of the feathers were rainbow and things like that.
I have 3 favorites for different reasons. The first one, meaning-wise, just because it's something that I did free-handed one day, and it took me 2 hours, and I didn't use a single photo reference or anything, and I just kind of did it. It's a picture of Tyler Joseph from 21 Pilots, but there's tape over his mouth, and then it's black and white. It's basically just white paint on a black canvas. And then the second one is a Prismacolor drawing I did of the lead singer of Waterparks named Austin Knight. It's on a piece of wood, and it's probably about this big, and it has a whole color scheme of just yellow, orange, and red, and so it's virtually no other colors. There's some white and little edges type things, darker parts, but that's the color scheme of it, and it's really obvious. So aesthetically, that's one of my favorite pictures I've ever done. And then my favorite one skill-wise is a self-portrait I did, just because I actually think it looks really realistic, and it won first place in my school's art show. So that made me really happy.